He's
How you doing, Alex? Keeping Mr. Schnock in line. I've been talking to Dennis quite a bit. A couple of deals we got cooking.
Yeah, down south.
Well, we're over by, sort of south, but it's more over by Richmond, Cambridge City area.
Okay.
You ready, Robert?
Regional sewer district. It was fighting with their biggest.
He didn't want the guys I knew.
It's a long story.
Always have something.
Have you got time?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Live.
Step baby daddy-in-law, and I'm sure he's skydiving. His father, two of my grandkids, they're engaged. I said, since you're not married, I still refer to this like step baby daddy. Trying to get him to get married. He's got 3,000 jobs. Very experienced.
Yeah.
This video, that's crazy. People that are skydiving for the first time.
Wow.
So, he's been doing it all summer. It's just getting down to the end. It's in school there. You never have to worry about it. Something weird happened when he was coming down today. Right before they land, they do a big turn and then they pull up and push it up a little bit and slow. For some reason, they did a fast turn.
Feedback. Got your mic on? Is your mic on, Becky?
You know what, I'm sure it's that, because every time we touch it, it does that. Yeah, they just got one. I think everybody's got it.
Are we ready to get started, guys?
I think so.
Is that better? All right. Call the meeting to order at 7:05. And everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Try to turn these back on.
Mine's on.
All right, mine's on.
All right.
All right. We're going to recess the regular council meeting and open up the public hearing on the,
Do we need to do roll call?
oh,
Roll call.
sorry. Yep. There's a game tonight, Missy. We're trying to get us out of here.
Fritz, Robert,
Here.
Becky,
Here.
Tanya,
Here.
Libby.
Here.
Ready? All right. We're going to recess the regular council meeting and open the public hearing for the 2021 budget.
Okay, so the budget for 2021 is proposed for $2,936,888, of which the general fund is $1,931,431, and the estimated levy for that fund is $818,245. For the local road and street is $50,000, and we're estimating no levy for that. Motor vehicle highway, $492,413 and $250,000 of levy for that. For the park, our budget of $322,657 and $100,000 for the levy. CCI, $23,500. CCD, $36,000 for the total, and our maximum levy is $1,227,862, and our property tax cap is estimated to be $242,070. That is for our total budget for next year, and the levy is a 4.2% increase over last year's. And again, keep in mind that this budget is based on with the new fire territory, which is expected to reduce our revenues for about $168,000, and we've allowed about $200,000 for that. Is there any comment for that?
Hey, Beth, would you like to speak to a little bit for some of those that may not have been here, that the $168,000 that was originally budgeted for the fire territory also accounted for the 15% that we basically just planned for COVID-related reduction, right? Why we went for the 200, I didn't know if you wanted to.
Okay, so I allowed, just to be safe, I allowed for additional room so that we would make sure that we'd have enough in our budget. So that's why I moved it up, or bumped it up to 200,000 to allow for that, because, I mean, there's so many uncertainties with this budget next year that I've just allowed a little extra room for that, to be conservative.
I think that's wise. We all can agree that it turned out to be a little more than we had hoped. All right. Any public comments? Budget. All right, I'm seeing none. We can close the public hearing on the budget and reconvene our council meeting. We don't need a motion on that, do we, Alex?
You're fine.
All right. All right. Ready to move forward with the approval of the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, new business. We've got the Vernon Township Fire Territory fire engine purchase. I'm going to speak on that. Obviously, everybody should know by now that the creation of the Vernon Township Fire Territory was necessary, and the exciting news is we have agreed to purchase 2 new fire engines, but they take 1 year plus in order from the order point to delivery to receive. So we've already received a brand new ambulance. Hopefully you guys have all seen that already. Pretty exciting. And we need to get the order in for the 2 new fire trucks. But seeing how those are going to be entering into a lease agreement, that's the reason why it needed to come back to the individual town. So Fortville, McCordsville's already held their vote and it passed in the township. I don't recall if the township is it's already passed too. So this was the last step in this agreement. And again, the reason why we had to come back for this was because we're entering into a lease agreement, basically a loan to purchase these. So when that happens, it's got to come back before the individual councils for another vote. Anything to add to that, Alex?
And it's really, I think, lender driven as well. They just wanted the additional comfort. You got 3 municipal bodies that are all chipping in, and just to make sure that they have that additional comfort that you guys have approved that. So.
Perfect. Any questions on that? Any discussion? No?
Do we have any details on the lease? How much it is?
It was 2 fire engines for a total of $1.2 million.
Over how long of a period, do you know?
That I'm wanting to say, I need to get that for you, but I'm wanting to say that was, Alex, you remember that? Was it 5?
5 years?
5 years? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
And they'll have the funds to pay for that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none.
None.
All right. I'll pass those down. All right. Unfinished business. Consider second reading of ordinance 2020-6B, IURC opt-out. Joe or Buzz? All right.
As I understand, you had the public hearing last meeting, and I know there were some dialogue with at least one gentleman. I'm just here basically if questions were to come up tonight to address it, but I think I could say, this is not, there is no imminent rate increase coming. It's really just 93% of all the municipal utilities have taken this action, and we think it's a prudent action for the town. It'll save a lot of time and money. At some point, there'll need to be some expansion of the water treatment plant and wells. Whether we need a rate increase or not, we have to go to get approval for financing at some point, and it can be a costly and adversarial scenario that municipalities don't have to take, and like I say, 93% of all the municipal utilities have already done this. We're not out on a limb here in doing so. But with that, do any of you have any questions?
I would ask either you or Alex, I know you've spoken to this, to again, just reiterate really the scope of the IURC and who it's really intended for, those larger companies.
Yeah, the investor-owned utilities. The difference here, the ratepayers and citizens of the town are the shareholders. We're not in business to earn profits. We're not in business to pay dividends to shareholders. Any earned surplus that exists stays with the water utility for the benefit of the water utility customers. And, it's just a different animal. But because it falls on, and the wastewater, for instance, has never been subject to that because they fall under the Public Works Statute, which is a different section of the Indiana Code. There's really no difference in the rules for either one. It's just if you're in the public utility sector of that code, by default, you're under the IURC. But like I say, over the last 25, 30 years, everybody has done what you're trying to do here. And for the same reason, save the ratepayers money.
Perfect. Questions for Buzz? No?
I don't.
I'm going to open it up for public comment, if you guys don't mind. Any other comments from the public on this? Is there anyone here in the audience wishing to ask some questions of this topic? I'm seeing none. So, Joe, Alex, you good for any other discussion or?
No, do you have any questions? Buzz covered it.
All right, this is the second reading too, guys, so I'd be willing to entertain a motion.
I'll give you a motion to approve the opt-out for the IURC. Ordinance 2020-6B.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right. Council to consider holding second reading, final reading of ordinance 2020-7D, a rezone of approximately 112 acres at the northeast corner of Fortville Pike and County Road 850 North from residential 1.0 to planned unit development for the Dillon Park neighborhood. Adam.
Good evening. For the record, I'm Adam Zaklikowski, the Planning and Building Director for the town of Fortville. I won't go into too many of the specifics on the project since I think you're all pretty familiar with it. I'll go over what the Plan Commission had to say about it, and then certainly if you have any specific questions on development standards or any topics that are raised, be more than happy to address those. There are representatives here from Arbor as well that may want to speak regardless. So if you recall, Arbor revised their proposal. We did a fresh first reading, and that revised proposal went to the Plan Commission on September 29th. And during their review, although staff had recommended a favorable or a positive recommendation with a stipulation saying that more trees in the wooded area shall be preserved by removing the pond or acquiring additional property or removing lots. The Plan Commission granted an unfavorable or negative recommendation by a vote of 6-1, and they cited the following reasons. That number one, it's agricultural in the comprehensive plan. That two, homes are smaller than is shown in the PUD template that was approved by the town for projects. Number three, they felt that there were still too many lesser deviations from the overall PUD template. Four, they were concerned about the loss of the wooded area. And then number five, there was concern about the overall quality of Arbor Homes products. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address those. Oh, let me mention one other thing on the rezone and the annexation piece. So this first part is the rezone. The reason we put that first, as we do with similar projects, is if in the event that the rezone doesn't pass and the applicant does not want to annex, then they could pull that annexation. We don't have to move forward on that. Alternatively, if the property owner is amenable, we could still move forward with the annexation and the property would be in the town limits. It would just carry the existing zoning. So there are a couple different options there.
Adam, did you prepare, I'm just looking at the ordinance that's in front of the council. So this, though, I think as written, unless I'm reading it incorrectly, would actually have the council adopt the proposed PUD and put that in place and go against the Plan Commission.
Correct. If you're inclined to adopt the PUD ordinance.
Right.
So that was the Plan
So
Commission
you
recommendation.
So the Plan Commission certified its proposal to you with an unfavorable recommendation. You can accept that and the zoning wouldn't change. Or you can reject it and adopt the ordinance that's in front of you, which would go against the Plan Commission's recommendation and actually adopt the PUD with all the attachments that are presented. So I just wanted that to be clear that that's what's on the table in front of you.
And then the other aspect too is if you take no action, then 90 days following the September 29th meeting, a negative recommendation would be it would be denial in 90 days. So if you have any other questions.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear because it kind of read through it.
And if we deny it, they can come back with substantial changes, correct?
Yes, if you deny it, typically there's a 1-year prohibition on coming back before you, unless there are substantial changes to the document. So in this case, conceivably, they could come back if they made such changes.
That's in your discretion or your and Joe's discretion of the application. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Can we do just a real quick summary here?
Sure.
So as far as our options go.
So you can accept the Plan Commission's recommendation to deny the proposed rezone, and then that would be a denial. you can reject the plan commission's recommendation to deny and move forward with reading the final reading, the second reading of ordinance 2027D, which would then approve the PUD and the rezone with the stipulations and commitments that Adam had incorporated and that the applicant or the petitioner agreed to.
Or if we chose to do nothing.
Chose to do nothing, you could table it, you've got 90 days, you could pick this back up when Fritz is back, if you wanted the full council here to discuss. But if you don't do anything within 90 days, then the plan commission's decision stands.
Questions, council? Any more discussion? And real quick, I've been flipping through here. I don't see that I have that
It's
that
this
ordinance.
right here.
Yeah. I don't
It's
see that.
right at the beginning. It's a few pages in, just in the front.
Maybe I mixed it all in here. Oh, here it is. I got it. Thank you.
For the
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Christian Rector. I'm the Director of Land Acquisition and Entitlement at Arbor Homes, and I apologize to everyone out here. I have a lovely PowerPoint presentation that I guess you guys don't get to see, but I will try to describe what's on there since we don't have the computer up tonight. I want to thank you guys for you all for coming back out again. I know this has been a long process, and after Plan Commission, where we came to discuss the changes that had been made, and then turned into a little bit broader discussion. I do want to just go over a little bit of a recap of who we are at Arbor and what we build, since that became a point of discussion. You guys have the PowerPoint if you want to follow along. On the third page, you'll see just a little slide about Arbor Homes. We were founded in 1994. Since then, we have built over 16,000 homes in the greater Indianapolis area, and we are passionate about housing. On that slide on the left, you'll see our core values. We are committed to those. We do everything we can to make sure they don't just become wall art, but that we live them every day. The first one, opportunity, we believe that applies to both our employees and our customers. Family, we believe in supporting the families of our employees as well as our buyers and customers. Obviously, we're committed to our customers, and everything we do, we want to do ethically and with a process in place. We believe that is why for the last 3 years, we've been named a top place to work, and we have a A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. On the next slide, you'll see a little summary of where the housing market stands in Indianapolis right now. Indianapolis is dead last of the top 33 markets in the country in terms of our falling supply. Year over year, we have half as much supply in housing available as we did last year. A MIBOR study by the Board of Realtors suggested we are building 1,800 or 1,750 fewer homes per year than is needed to meet the demand in this market. That's part of why we're so passionate about bringing this project forward so that we can provide opportunities for people looking for housing. When I was here last month, we quickly went over some of the changes in the PUD from when we initially filed and went to that first Plan Commission hearing. As I said then, when we first filed this, we were looking to provide a variety of housing options in Fortville. We did not meet all of the PUD standards at that point. We heard the feedback loud and clear from Adam as well as at Plan Commission, and that's why we have made our changes and mostly have Adam's support at this point. That includes meeting the minimum side yard setbacks. We have increased by 50% the number of lots that are 65 foot wide or wider. Most importantly to everybody, we removed vinyl siding is an option, and hardy plank will be standard in the community. On the next slide, another big point of contention with Adam was the chairback curbs. We have agreed to that. His suggestion that we take our driveways to 19-foot wide, we've agreed to, as well as irrigation in the common areas. When we were here last month, Adam mentioned there was one issue that we still needed to work out, and that was the fee for the road impacts in the community. Communities are made to grow. We acknowledge we do have road impacts, so we don't think it is completely unfair to ask for a developer contribution there. That's why we have agreed to what he has asked for, of $750 per home to go to the town to contribute for those impacts. At the first Plan Commission meeting, we had, I believe it was 7 remonstrators publicly speak, as well as 1 letter written. As I said, we heard a lot about the PUD standards, the drainage, and the traffic. I have on the slide 4, I think it was actually 5 remonstrators spoke last week. And again, we heard about traffic. We did hear about the trees and the standards. I will note that Mount Vernon North seemed to be praised at that hearing. As Adam mentioned a few minutes ago, one thing that came up at the Plan Commission meeting was the quality of our product. We take that seriously. It's personal to me. I live in one of our homes. We have several employees that live in our homes. We have family members that live in our homes. We believe we build a great product. You'll see a picture of Autumn Woods on there. It was suggested that you could see siding falling off of our homes from I-70. That is a picture of our homes that back up to I-70 in that neighborhood. When we talk about quality, we use great products. Autumn Woods is a vinyl community. However, every house is still stick built. It is framed on site. In none of our communities do we use wall panels. A framer stick builds every home to fit that exact foundation. We also allow all of our customers that come through our design center, where they get to pick out every option that goes into their house, from the flooring to the cabinets to the color, interior and exterior. They truly get to customize and build the home they want. The next slide is another picture of Autumn Woods. Again, this is a vinyl community that is not the exact product we would be building in Dillon Park, where we have committed to hardy. However, these homes are multiple years old and are out of warranty. The next 2 slides include pictures of homes in Windstone. I know there were some concerns, and we heard some of those with the PUD standards about not wanting exactly what is in Windstone. However, we do stand by that product. I mentioned at Plan Commission, my sister and her husband live in Windstone and are raising their 2 kids there, and are proud to be members of the Fortville community. Windstone has not just been a success for Arbor, but also for our homeowners. There's a slide on there that shows the price appreciation of homes in Windstone and the 29 homes in there that have sold this year. On average, those homes have 7% annual appreciation. That is $1,200 of equity per year since those people had built their homes. If you would like, I actually have this is the data, the raw data that supports that graph that shows our initial sales price, as well as what it recently sold for. As you can see, those families have seen great return on their investment. The average resale price this year of homes in Windstone has been $211,000. That's compared to our first-time average sales price this year of $223,000. Again, I believe this points to this being a quality product while we are still building and finishing out the community. Our buyers are seeing a tremendous return on investment. When we talk about providing housing and opportunity for our home buyers, this is something that gets us excited about. We still see a large percentage of America derives a significant portion of their net worth from their investment in their home. And having the opportunity to provide families with that opportunity, as well as the security that comes with home ownership, being able to have a stable home and send your kids to good schools. That's something that we are passionate about and why we want to move forward with this community. That's a product we have built. The next slide looks at Dillon Park, product we hope to build. As we said, we have made significant commitments above and beyond what we are building in Windstone, including the hardy plank siding, the chair back curbs, some slightly higher square footage. We currently project a $260,000 price point as being our average sales price in Dillon Park. That would be the 79th percentile of the Fortville community today. This is compared to all sales that have happened this year in Fortville of existing homes. I could try to project out farther where we would be, but we try to do so in today's dollars. It's likely our sales price will be higher than 260 as we're talking at least 18 months out from being able to sell, but lumber's gone up $10,000 to $15,000 a home this year. I can't predict where we'll be at that point. As I mentioned earlier, we've heard a lot about the PUD standards. So we kind of have a few slides in here comparing where we are to Mount Vernon North. No, we do not meet every single one of them. And that's something we've heard over and over again. I don't believe there will be a builder that can come through and say they can meet every single one of them for a community development like this. Outside of a small custom neighborhood, I just don't think it's feasible. Comparing to Mount Vernon North, we're not the exact same. There's some we do more of than them, and there are a couple that we're slightly less. However, we do have 10% more lots that are 65 foot or wider. We will meet the PUD standards on side yard setbacks regardless of what product or options are built on our lots, and we've agreed to 5% less impervious surface. On the next slide, we've agreed to masonry on 100% of houses in Dillon Park, as opposed to Mount Vernon North that is only guaranteed on corner lots. We think that is a huge advantage to our product. You will not have any homes that are 100% siding. You will at least have multiple materials on every single home. Additionally, we've agreed to the roof pitch standards as well as the $750 per lot. I think when you compare those, you'll see that while not the exact same, again, we believe in offering a variety of housing options, but we are at or above those standards. One that we are below on is the minimum square footage. We are asking for a 1,300 square foot minimum. If I'm being completely honest, we'd be willing to go to the 1,600 that Mount Vernon North has. However, I would ask that you allow that variance. One, that is not a top selling home for us. It was mentioned at Plan Commission, potentially limiting the number of those we sold. We'd be completely fine with that. However, I do believe that it is important to offer a variety of floor plans and options. We have seen it across the city as people have tried to use zoning as a way of raising prices in their neighborhood. Going to the minimum square footage is one of the first things they've done. I believe you are forcing larger homes on people that don't necessarily want them. I believe there are people that are downsizing. That a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot is exactly what they want. Adding on that additional footage isn't going to do a lot for them. As we get into the overview of the community, we have 24% open space. We have amenity areas, including a park and playground. We're committing to trails, not just along Fortville Pike in the exterior, but through those open areas. Those are some of the most requested amenities we get. And another thing that was mentioned in Plan Commission was the comp plan calling this area agricultural. Even if you deny our request, which I hope you don't, but if you do, I would recommend you guys evaluate your comp plan and look at the use for this area. This is the next logical developable site in this area of Fortville. Mount Vernon North is directly across the street. We're a compatible use. I know there has been developers, and Adam can confirm, that have reached out about the area north of this, closing the gap between this and downtown Fortville. They, in all honesty, need this to be developed first, as we are extending water and sewer to those properties, making it feasible to be developed when you all decide the time has come for that to happen. Additionally, as you all are talking about removing from the IURC and the potential need for water infrastructure impacts, these are 317 EDU capacity fees that will be paid to Fortville Water to help make those improvements when the time comes for them. We believe this would be a great addition to the community. I know this has been a long process, and this is identical to what we brought to you last month after we had gone through and made the changes. The only thing different is when Adam stood up last month and said the only thing that needs to be worked out is the road impact fee. We've agreed to what he asked for. So we believe this will be a great project, be a great addition to Fortville, and give a great opportunity for Fortville to grow and provide those opportunities we're passionate about for your citizens. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Council, I have one quick question. So just so I make sure I heard you correctly, this is the same plan that was presented to us last time with the exception of the road improvement, the contribution to the roads. No substantive changes since the Plan Commission meeting.
That is correct. We had the initial Plan Commission meeting back in June. We heard them loud and clear. We changed to meet a lot of those standards so that we could be at least equivalent, in our view, exceeding the standards of Mount Vernon North. Adam can attest to that process of trying to figure out how we could make that work. So it is other than the road impact fee, since we came in September, it is the same proposal.
Okay. Thank you. Council?
Since there's a lot of questions about the trees, did you find anything out about the woods?
So we've done our initial due diligence of the trees. We are required to do a wetland study on every project we do. They go out and look for farm isolated wetlands, which are the biggest pain for us, as those are usually just broken drainage tiles that are now considered wetlands. The most significant ones they look for are forested wetlands. We were nervous that we could find some here, and there is less than half an acre of those woods that could potentially be considered protected. That's all that they're trees that were not knocked down with the rest of the farm field when the farmer initially started farming.
So a half an acre that's
Potentially protected. That's up. We will have to submit to IDEM for them to make that determination.
And there is no other option for what you guys have planned for that woods that you feel that you could work?
There's not between the chairback curve and everything we've given to this point. We need I know Adam's talked about potentially moving a pond. We need drainage up in that area. It's just not feasible to route drainage over halfway across the project to the next nearest pond. Our engineers are already a little nervous looking at this about providing enough detention for the area. So it's not feasible in the way it would affect the layout.
So how many homes technically are planned for that woods right now? Do you know right off the top of your head? 'Cause
I
can't-
don't. I
I
want to
can't
say
tell by
it's
looking at it.
it's in the neighborhood of 20.
Say like 25, 26.
So, and again, we're not destroying all of the woods. It's when we develop, we won't cut down trees that aren't within 15 feet of the housing pad. Now, obviously, the streets coming through there, part of the pond does go in there. But anything that once we get to the edge of the pads that back up for those woods, we will save those. All the tree line separating us from the property to the north of us, we will do everything we can to preserve all of that. We're not going to just come in and cut them down just because they're there, but we will have to go into that area.
It's like a 3-acre woods, isn't it? It's about 3 acres.
I think it's a little bigger than that. I want to say 6-ish.
So
That's
how
what I'm
many,
guessing.
how much of that do you think is saved? Is there an acre that will still have trees on
That's
it?
my rough guess is about 30% of it
30%.
will be safe. It's a rough guess. I'll also point out that I think one of the last slides on there where it shows our park area, you get to see some of the landscape buffer that'll be going along Fortville Pike, and as well we'll be planting that into the 1,000 of trees across this project. Just when you start talking about two trees in every rear yard, the trees in the front yard, the trees along the buffer, I am confident we'll be planting far more trees than we are tearing down.
That's all I got.
Libby?
Well, I was just concerned about the trees as well. I knew Tanya was going to cover it. No, not yet.
Becky? So we have a proposal ahead of us, and Alex has already recapped our options. So I guess we can start just kind of we'll just start with the first one. Is there any appetite to continue moving forward with the information that's been presented?
I personally feel like that we put that planning commission in place for a reason, and they have concerns that I think are justified.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
I hate to go against that, and we've had a lot of people that have talked, so we're here to be the voice of the people. So I hate to go against that.
Okay. Libby, I saw a nod down there.
No, I agree. I mean, we put the planning commission there, better experts than I am as far as understanding the comp plan and all of that. So I trust what they say. I struggle with this because I'm a fair person, so I see like all the work that's gone into it and appreciate all of that. But at the same time, I hear my neighbors saying other things. So I tend to lean the same as Tanya here.
It makes it difficult to go against what they want, and I've tried to beat it out the best I can, but after finding out some of the things I found out about the woods and talked to some other people, I just don't. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Becky?
I agree that we probably ought to let the other committee make the decisions, since that's what we appointed them to do.
So my comments on this are, I'm not certain if, and I haven't heard it from, well, unless there's insinuation there. So we have two options left on the table. The way I hear this is this can be a total vote, and Alex, jump in if I misspeak. A total vote no tonight, or we can do nothing and provide more time, which was how many days?
You've got 90 days until the plan commission's recommendation stands, but that does not equate to sending it back and continuing the
Correct.
process. So it's, if you wanted to wait until Fritzworth's here,
It's 90 days to come back to us.
Correct.
but in that time period also, I mean, really, you should be looking at the plan commission's recommendation and the proposal that they certified to you, Adam's input, Christian's input this evening, and then be closed. You shouldn't continue to
Right.
be gathering and investigating in
Right.
this situation.
Well, that's what we needed to hear. So
Okay.
more time doesn't necessarily mean
And-
go fix this.
And if I'm being perfectly honest, this is it. I mean, we've negotiated with Adam. I mean, you heard him up here last time say we had one issue to work out. Every time we've taken a step farther, it's been another
I know
step
you guys
back.
have worked really hard.
When they talk about bringing it back with a substantial change, we have done everything we can to make this work. If Fortville is not accepting of this community, then if I'm being honest, you can vote it down, because we can't give anymore.
And I acknowledge you guys from the first time we had met, and I kind of had heard the first time this was kind of it. To now, it's been a long way. There was a lot of progress. I will say that for sure. So, council, are we willing to make a motion? And just to be careful, it's either to make a motion to accept the plan commission's recommendation to reject, or to not accept the plan commission's recommendation and continue moving forward. Those are the two options.
That's right.
I'll make the motion to accept the planning commission's recommendation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chris.
We would also then like to withdraw the annexation petition, please. Thank you.
Thanks.
I was looking for the annexation it was the next one on the agenda.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it's the fiscal plan is the resolution on the next. And then also D would have been the second. I think I've got that right. Oh, wait.
I just want to,
Is Miss Buckley in the room? Is Pam here?
No.
Okay. Because the only reason I ask is I don't know if Arbor is really authorized to make that decision.
Right. I was
They don't
gonna
own the
ask that.
land.
My recommendation is in light of this, that you would table the B and
The
D,
annexation,
or I'm sorry,
the annexation.
classes on C and D. To allow Adam to reach out to the property owner, because he's correct that it's the property owner that needs to withdraw the request, the petition for annexation, and if they do that, then they can stop the annexation, so.
Okay.
I think my recommendation would be to table it and give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
To
Someone make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to table both C and D until Adam can reach out to the property owners.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, thank you. I know there were probably some folks here. I'm going to actually open that up for comment, public comment on that, as far as action that was just taken. Any questions, any final questions? Well, before we move on.
Hi, my name is Judy Gable. I just want to say appreciate you guys listening to us, because we want the best for Fortville, and I don't think Arbor was giving us the best. So appreciate
All right,
you.
thank you. Anybody else?
Sorry, my legs asleep. I do appreciate you guys for listening to us. I've actually worked on a lot of their homes.
I'm sorry, sir, your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Thunder Williams.
Okay.
And I've actually worked on a lot of their homes. I'm a plumber. I work for Mr. Plumber, Summers, Maggie, a lot of independent companies. And Armor Home basically gave us a lot of work. They didn't do the plumbing. They subcontracted it out to like RT Moore and stuff. But they had a lot of issues, and I appreciate you guys. So I was going to say that if we had a chance, but thank you. Thank you for
Welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Jody Wills, and when Libby said, we have to listen to our neighbors, or your comment about listening to us, and you guys did, and thank you, thank you, thank you. We very much appreciate it. I don't live in the town. I couldn't vote for the town council, but thank you. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
My name is Terry Wheeler, and I live right across from where this development was going to be. I'm on the south side, so it would have been across from all of our property. And just wanted to echo that I appreciate very much that you did listen to some of us. I'm sure that some of our complaints, were not what you wanted to hear, but I think if you are going to develop that land, that you can do better than what they were proposing. And I do thank you for listening to us.
All right, any other comments or questions? Okay. We're going to move on to unfinished business. Item E, council to consider holding second reading of ordinance number 2020-9C, a rezone of approximately 38 acres owned by Donald Barnhart Living Trust at 8283 North 200 West from residential 3.5 to institutional. Adam.
All right, good evening. Same thing, I won't really go into a whole lot of detail on this. It's pretty straightforward. The school district is looking to acquire property on 200 West that is just north of their middle school campus. It's property that happens to be for sale. They would like to have the ability to, of course, purchase that, but then rezone it from R3.5, which is residential, to institutional. And they don't have any solid plans right now as to how they would develop that property. So the Plan Commission, because it's a rezone, reviewed it, same thing on September 29th. And they issued a positive recommendation subject to the following condition, that the school district shall analyze various sites near the Old Town area or northern portion of Fortville for a possible walkable elementary school location near a residential neighborhood. That stipulation, of course, isn't very strong in terms of requiring them to purchase a site near the Old Town. It was just brought to the Plan Commission's attention about the benefits to the residents and future residents of the town of having a neighborhood school. So Plan Commission wanted to make sure that they at least consider that as a viable option. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address those. And I believe representatives from the school district are here as well. Thank you.
All right, guys. Questions, comments? I think this one was pretty well discussed at the last one.
Yep.
Nothing? Anybody from the public wish to speak or ask questions on this? No? Thank you, Adam. There's no questions or discussion. Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the ordinance number 2020-9C, rezoning approximately 38 acres owned by Donald Barnhart Living Trust at 8283 North 200 West from residential 3.5 to institutional.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And Missy, do I just have the signature page on that? Oh, never mind, it's here. It's mixed in there. All right. And real quick as well, you need a signed 2020-7D, correct?
No, is that that was Arbor? So that.
That was the
ordinance-
rezone.
Yeah, so it's dead. You
Dead.
accepted the plan commission's proposal, which was to deny their application, so there's no reason to adopt the ordinance.
Yeah, we just have two ordinances tonight, that's fine.
All right, gonna move forward with the department reports. Joe?
I have nothing to say.
What? Ready for that game?
All right.
All right. Liking what I'm hearing. So real quick, silly question. Salt, barn's full, all good to go there with our first 30-degree overnight we had?
It's not always full.
We're good to go for the, okay. Is Heath here this evening? No? All right. Adam?
I just wanted to mention something very quickly. So I always hate using building permits and single-family building permits as a metric as to the quality of a community. A lot of times that happens in the suburbs where the suburbs try to compete after how many building permits they've issued. So it doesn't mean a whole lot other than kind of a workload indicator. So we've been on a continual upward trend since at least 2017 on single-family building permits. And we eclipsed last year's number within the last few days. So we issued our 75th permit year to date. So I would expect that it would obviously be higher. So at least, again, it's not the end all be all indicator as some may lead you to believe, but it is at least noteworthy. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Adam? All right. Missy?
I do have one thing, we've been talking about the CARES Act a lot lately and the COVID relief and the money that we've received, that is available to us, the 132,000, which we still have about 130,000 left. There's a little bit of a change in the way that we can use that money. We are allowed to apply that money to the payroll of all first responders, public safety, police department. We have up to 130,000. We'll definitely use all of it. But we also need to sign a resolution or ordinance, which I have a sample of given to me by AIM. And I was hoping to, at the next meeting, have this ready for a resolution for y'all to sign so that we can get those funds in motion.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds good.
make sure that's on the next agenda, please.
And that'll be for a payroll for,
Payroll for the
Police
department,
officers, yeah,
right?
that's fantastic. From
Yeah.
what periods did you say?
March 1st to September
Oh,
30th.
that definitely use it all, won't it?
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else, Missy?
Nope, unless you guys have something for me.
That's great news.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause that's money actually already spent that we will be getting back. Not that we just don't have to spend.
Right.
A big difference, big difference. Mm-hmm. All right, Chief?
Good evening. Yay for the first responders.
Yes, absolutely.
I got just a couple things. You have the monthly report. You actually have it a couple weeks in advance this time for last month. And this just came to light today. The Hancock County Emergency Management has issued a burn advisory for the county. They haven't issued a burn ban, but they are requesting that any open fires be contained to a grill, either fueled by charcoal or propane. So they're advising against the open burns right now. So I want to go on record as saying that that's through the Hancock County EMA. The other thing is you'll notice on our uniforms, not this one, but we have gone to the pink patch for the month of October in recognition of breast cancer to support those families and people that have gone through that. And other than that, I don't have anything unless you have questions for me.
Are those new vehicles working out? Do you have them yet? The 2 Durangos?
No, we're still waiting on equipment.
Okay.
I mean, we've got them. They're marked. They're in the bay. But we don't want to just piecemeal it as a piece of equipment. We're going to wait till everything comes in and do it and get it done.
What's the timeline on that?
Well, it's funny you should ask because I called them today, and the one piece of equipment for one of the vehicles we're waiting on is the kennel that has to be fabricated for the K9. And then we're just waiting on a couple of the consoles to come in to fit the centerpiece, because on the Dodges, the transmission is down on the floor. It's not on the column. So, but that's what we're waiting on right now.
Okay. Questions for Chief? No? Thank you, sir.
All right.
Oh, I do have a question. What do you want me to do with those signs?
I'm sorry?
What do you want me to do with the signs that I have?
I thought you were going to store those for the chamber's use, and then when we need them, we'll get them back.
Well, I can store them. As long as you know where they're at, I want them to be
Oh,
accounted for.
I know where they're at. And they're all marked property of the town of Fortville.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll have to call me if you need them.
Yes, or somebody from the chamber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the only thing I got power.
Is that it?
All right. Thank you, sir.
I don't have anything unless you have questions for me.
Questions for Alex? Nope. All right. This is the part of the meeting where we open it up for public comment on anything that we haven't already discussed.
We really like the compliments, so if you want to keep giving them, we'll take them. No, I'm just teasing.
All right. I'm seeing none. All right. Libby?
I had a question for Joe and Adam, I think. With the Stellar project and the Main Street project coming up in February, I was wondering if we were doing any signage on Main Street so people could see what the change was going to look like. Like, there are other communities who have put signage out that said, this is what's going to be happening on Main Street. And they put little placards out, where people could see it. And it would just start making that
I
awareness.
don't know that we've actually got that exactly planned out, but I do know that we're working with Core Planning as the owner's rep. And that is part of what they're working with us on.
This would be
working with the business owners.
It would be a great time to start putting stuff out since people are out on Main Street, and it would get them used to
We've
seeing
only
that.
had, it's only like a week or two ago, we had our first pre-construction meeting, and it was via Zoom or on the phone, so I mean, it's a little ways out. I know one of the things that they wanted to go ahead and start on this year was just start removing things like the trees and all. We asked them to leave it until they're really ready to start doing the construction. We don't want the Main Street to look trashy for the holidays.
So question, when are the barricades going up then? I think that's the ultimate point as to when people,
I think it's March or May. We'll have to-
okay.
we'll have to
And it's
narrow
Core,
that down.
I was in on some of those early meetings with Core. Do they have any, are we going to put anything on our website, anything go out, Facebook page, makes it really, to Libby's point, far in advance to anticipate any questions?
What we've been doing with Core is we've been having meetings that would take place here, and we would invite all the stakeholders, so all the business owners and property owners along Main Street, and worked out strategic, which end are we going to start on with all the other things that are going on. We got 2 facade projects coming in with Fox Garden and the VFW. That's something that we're going to have to work into, and that could change some of the scheduling a little bit. And then also dealing with CSX. CSX, getting the flagger out here, it takes a little while to get them here, and it costs more to do one side of the road, send them away, and then call them back out, wait for them to get here. So they're, I think now talking about doing the whole railroad intersection at one time. So we're still, now that we've got the contractor hired, it's actually NDOT is to hire the contractor, but now that we've got them selected, we will sit down with them and get the business owners, property owners involved again, come up with more of a plan that's going to work, And then, once we get that, we'll share that with the public.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Tanya?
No, I think I've said enough.
All right, Becky?
Nothing.
Only thing I have is I told you I'd have the best animal control update I could get. So at the last commissioners meeting, they were still working, and I've heard that they feel like they've come to an agreement that we hope is signed tomorrow. So that I'm hoping is supposed to be good news for us. But I'll have more information for you at the next meeting for sure. Okay.
I'm already going to paper about that.
That's already, so, yep, the actual agreement's supposed to, well, the way that these negotiations have been happening, I'm not believing it until I see it signed, so. All right, with that, thank you everybody for coming. And we're going to approve and sign vouchers. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve and sign vouchers.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Make a motion, we adjourn at 8:07.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, thanks for coming, everybody.
Just throw it out. Just throw it out.
Missy, do you have everything from us? I think you got everything from us.
He wasn't home in time. He missed the boat. He was still at work because I called him. Oh, it was interesting. Well, the planning commission didn't want to do anything. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I mean, over at the Legion, we don't wear them over
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, they did nothing.
Really?
Yeah, so what'll happen is it'll die and it'll just